It's little wonder that the Institute for Fiscal Studies, Mr Deputy Speaker, much quoted by the First Minister in the last few weeks, and rightly because of the mess that this government have made of the UK economy, have slammed their proposition too. They said, and I quote, "It is highly likely an independent Scotland would need to make much bigger cuts to public spending or much larger increases to tax in the first decade of independence by far." The IFS were right about the mini-budget, and indeed everyone quotes them, the First Minister quotes them, and they're right about this proposition as well. But, Mr Deputy Speaker, if they won't listen to the Institute for Fiscal Studies, why won't they listen to their own people on their own side? And it was been quoted already, because Robin McAlpine of the Commonweal Foundation, which they used to quote vociferously in here, and who campaigned alongside the First Minister for independence in 2014, and actually campaigned along many members who are currently sitting here, I'll have to give way if you want to tell me about Robert McAlpine.
I think it's important to point out to the Shadow Minister that there's not one blueprint or one proposal for Scotland, that those are decisions that the people of Scotland will take after independence. And they are propositions, and there are other propositions on the table, and that is what a democracy is. But I want to pick him up on one point from some time ago. He made the suggestion that democracy is allowed to prevail in Ireland, and he supports it because it keeps the peace. Is he therefore suggesting, and I hope he's not, that there needs to be violence? No, it's important. I fled Northern Ireland when I was a 7-year-old boy because of sectarianism. Is that really the point he's making for democracy to prevail?
Mr Deputy Speaker, I'm going to treat that intervention with the contempt it deserves and just completely and utterly ignore it. And if that's the kind of argument we're getting from the Alba party, who was elected as an SNP Member of Parliament, and the people of his constituency in Kirkcaldy and Cowdenbeath should reflect very seriously on what they do at the next general election.
Point of order, Mr Hanvey.
Thank you, Mr Deputy Speaker. I would just want to give the Shadow Minister the opportunity to correct the record. I was not elected as an SNP MP. I was elected as an independent MP.
Yes, he did correct the record, because I forgot he was suspended for antisemitism, Mr Deputy Speaker. I'm surprised he wants to put that on the public record of why he was thrown out of the Scottish National Party. But I think that second contribution probably sums up the disdain of why I would not accept the first one about violence in Northern Ireland. But I was talking about Robin McAlpine, and he said of the economic proposition for independence that we have to get off this mad bus of the First Minister's independence perspectives. He said, pick your reason, and I quote, "It could be because you think the government should have a lender of last resort. It could be because you realise they have no economic plan for Scotland. It might be because they failed to come up with any answers on trade or borders." Or I quote, and the Secretary of State did it earlier, "It could be because the whole thing is utter pish. Pick your reason, but for God's sakes, get off this mad bus."